Focus on relationship, focus on long term. This is another mistake they all have. They all believe that this is temporary.
She moved to Dubai with nothing and made $1 million in sales in her first year.
It took me 8 months and I sold 10 apartments.
Yana Lebedeva is not just a real estate agent. She's a sales machine who trains the next generation of Dubai's top agents.
If it's a true leader, they will always work at people's strengths, and that's what I do.
What do you think the main mistakes people are making in real estate when it comes to selling?
Most of them think it's easy. I'm not saying it's super difficult, it's possible, but it does involve a lot of hard work.
How long do you think someone needs to give themselves to establish themselves in?
If you handpick the right agents and you do the interview properly, you can actually make person perform within 3 months.
Where are you teaching people to go and get their leads from?
Most of them underestimate their phone book. Do calls, don't make cold calls. Make it warm. Do it differently.
How do you teach someone to know the difference between drawing the line on playing a long game and wasting your time with tire kickers?
The first thing that successful agents have is to lower your expectations. Just don't expect.
How many clients does someone need in this game to make themselves a successful realtor?
Usually they close from 2 to 3 deals a month.
What do you really think the truth of the Dubai market is now?
There is no luxury in Dubai because here is yet to come.
If you're in sales, this episode is essential.
Guys, Matt Haycox here for another episode of No Bollocks with me, Matt Haycox, and today Yana Lebedeva. It's a tongue twister, Lebedeva. Apparently it's said a little bit differently in Russian, but Yana Lebedeva is in the house for a real estate masterclass. So Yana, thanks a lot for being here. And by the way, whether or not you're in real estate, you want to listen up to this because the skills that we're going to be talking about are applicable across anything. Selling is selling is selling, whether you're doing real estate, whether you're doing financial advice, whether you're selling sausage rolls, whether you're arguing with your mom, dad, kids or wife. Selling is selling, negotiating is negotiating, but we're going to be talking about it in the context of real estate today. So thanks a lot for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Where did your real estate journey begin? Because I know obviously now you're a trainer. You've been a realtor yourself, and you've also run teams. How did it start? Because you told me you came to Dubai 20 years ago.
Yeah, I came to Dubai in 2004. I actually I have quite an unusual story, so it's not like I was dreaming about Dubai. I never knew where it was on the map that time, and I was curious, exploring the world. I've been to US before that, and I was like, okay, there was an opportunity to come to Dubai. Grabbed a friend, we came here, we worked in the hotel. But in the hotel, I got an opportunity to work in sales. Just to add to what you said earlier, that sales is sales. Yep. And in 2006, in the beginning of that, Dubai started to boom in terms of real estate. And at that time, they needed a lot of Russian speakers. And this is where I was hired by one of the large developers on the Palm. There was no Palm, though, yet. Palm Island didn't exist when I started. And this is how it all began.
And was being a realtor the dream back then? Because I know so many people now come to Dubai, to kind of live that or to follow that real estate dream. I mean, we'll come on to talk about it. I think it's a mirage rather than a dream. But I mean, that's probably applicable across many industries. I mean, I think there's fantastic opportunity in real estate here. But I would imagine there's very many people who aren't making it, who are struggling to pay their own rent, never mind sell somebody else a property. But it's something where people have seen the big numbers. The houses sell for $10 million, $20 million, $50 million, and they've heard the stories of the realtors, 25 years old, driving Ferraris, making 7 figures, and they want to come and live that dream. But was it like that back then?
First of all, it's true. You can drive Ferrari 25 in real estate. I don't think it's to that extent because even the prices were different. So money was different. However, the richest people were still real estate agents at that time. And I wouldn't say it was a dream, but I didn't have an idea. So I remember my interview and the gentleman showed me the commission structure. And I asked him a question. I said, if I sell, so imagine my salary at that time was 3,000 dirhams.
In the restaurant?
In the hotel. No, in sales,
Yeah.
in the hotel. So he's showing me there, and I was actually arguing to get the basic, to increase my basic. I was like, no, I need this 10,000 dirhams as a basic salary. He's like, Yana, you're not getting the point. So thanks to him, because he actually spent some time and explained me the commission structure. And when I saw it, I was like, hold on a second. If I sell 10 apartments per month, and I don't remember the commission structure, but I remember the figure till today. So will you pay me 98,000 dirhams in commission? So imagine from 3,000 to 98. He's like, no one is selling 10 apartments per month.
I mean, it sounds a big number.
I said, this is not my question. Will you pay me this money? He's like, of course we will pay. And that's where I started to actually dream about being a real estate agent. It was only money motivation. And it took me 8 months, and I sold 10 apartments
And
in that development.
And let's just set the scene for people listening or watching to this, because I guess the reason there is so much money available in Dubai real estate is because the commissions are much higher. I mean, I don't know how it works in Russia,
world, yeah.
but certainly in the UK,
Yeah.
we're working on 1% commission, typically 1.25%, maybe whatever. And here there's 4 or 5% to play with, is there? Half for the buyer,
That
half for the
time
seller.
it wasn't that high. However, today, on the average, it's 4% on the off-plan deal from the developer.
Okay.
And it's 2% from the buyer on a secondary market deal. It's regulated. If you compare UK market,
And you say 2% for the buyer on secondary. What about the seller? The seller pays?
it's a market trend when they pay both, and we encourage to pay both, but it's not regulated.
Okay, so
So if there is a way for the seller to get away with that, for the buyer, no, you have to pay.
okay.
Where I teach people to charge, because you need to provide a certain service where the client will be willing to pay you this 2%.
Yeah.
Whether in UK, the guys are a little bit more supported because it's all regulated. And I had an experience when I worked for one of the largest private developers in UAE. They had an office in London, so I was there for about 8 months, let's say. So I could see how the agents work in UK, and they don't have this ambition. They don't have this drive. They're missing it. But I find it slightly easier there. Here's a chaos. Here you need to have certain set of skills.
But I mean, I would say that, across most of the sales industries in the UK, that lack of ambition is there across the board. And that's not to say nobody has ambition.
No, of course.
Obviously, some of them do. But I also believe that problem is down to the fact that commissions are low, very low, not just in real estate, in everything, and basic salaries are too high. The culture over here in all of the sales industries is very much a no to low basic salary, and typically a very aggressive commission structure if you perform, and you got to back yourself in whatever industry it is.
Which I like, because this is what drives sales. Otherwise, why to be here?
So your journey started by accident. Did you sell those 10 apartments in the first month? You did?
After 8 months. It took me 8 months.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember.
And did you have a trainer? Did you have a mentor back then?
Yes, it was quite intense, I would say. The trainers, by the way, all British management at the time, however, it was an Arabic company. And we did lots of trainings, and they provided us scripts, very old school, proper calls, role plays, all of this. And I've resisted in the beginning. I was like, okay, how can it apply to everyone? And it took me probably 3 months when I closed my first deal. And I did it only to prove my boss that the script didn't work. But it didn't.
Oh. We'll talk about scripts in a minute. And then you moved on from being a realtor to ultimately being a manager, a team leader?
You always have, I was lucky with bosses. And if it's a true leader, they will always work at people's strengths. And that's what I do. I would never say, oh, okay, you're doing everything wrong. This is how you do it. That's not the mentorship. You just need to, I believe, find the right buttons to push so the person can actually be plugged in and lighten up. They've explained me how to do that. I've started applying, and I lost the track what I was talking about. Hold on, because I just remembered one case.
We were talking about becoming team leaders.
Yeah. So yes, they once I realized how to do the sale, I started helping other people, and the true leader just sees it in you. They see the strengths, and he was like, "Okay, Yana, from today, you're gonna try a different skill. Here is the team," and it just happened. And he also noticed that I was not very motivated by money. I was one of those agents who would be rather motivated by praise, to be number one, to be there, but it was never money. And it's not always a good thing when it comes to real estate. And this is how I started managing team. And since then, for 16 years, for 16 years I was managing teams.
And how long have you had your consultancy business now?
It's 2.5 years. Oh my God, I wanted to say 1.5. No, time flies. 2.5 years.
Let me hit you with a mad stat. You are probably not subscribed. Seriously, 58% of the people who listen to this podcast every single week do not hit that subscribe button. That is more than half of you. So let's fix this right now. The goal here is super simple. We grow the podcast, we bring in bigger guests, and we give you even more no bullshit, actionable insights to level up your business and to level up your life. Now in business, you set SMART goals. That's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Well, here's one for you. Let's get that 58% down to well below 50% in the next 3 months. So please do me a quick favor. If this podcast has ever given you one good idea, one piece of advice that's helped you or helped your business, then hit that subscribe button. It takes a second, it costs nothing, and it means that I can keep bringing you even bigger and better guests, giving you even bigger and better insights. Go on, do it now. I'll wait. Done? Perfect. Great choice. Let's grow this together.
And we were talking a little bit before we started. So what you do now, you've got three pillars, 3 prongs of the business. You'll go into real estate companies and you'll train their teams for them.
Yeah.
You'll work one-on-one with realtors themselves who want to invest in themselves and
whoever wants to grow
with you. And you put workshops on as well where everybody in real estate can come and get involved. Cool. We've got some context, so let's talk some problems and some tactics. So, I mean, what do you think the main mistakes people are making in real estate when it comes to selling?
If you ask me about newcomers, those who it's their own perception. Most of them think it's easy. I'm not saying it's super difficult, it's possible, but it does involve a lot of hard work, consistency, persistent action. Most of them, it's the mindset that I work on and I change because they think it's easy. And the mistakes...
Why do they think it's easy? Because they see on...
As you said, it's social media,
on
it's
Instagram,
everywhere.
$10 million properties, is that...
Ferrari,
yeah.
And every single person... the things that, I'll come and straight away I'll go to Royal Atlantis showing the beautiful villas or apartments. It doesn't work like that.
So how long do you think someone needs to give themselves to establish themselves here? Now, I've read or heard from people I know in the real estate industry that they talk about if someone came from England to work in real estate, they should come with £25,000 in savings to see themselves through for 6 months. We say it's 6 months, but if an agent listens to the guidance and if they're provided the right guidance and they want to do it, usually it's within 3 months. They should close the first sale within 3 months.
Within my experience, I love newcomers because they don't argue, they listen. If you handpick the right agents and you do the interview properly, you can actually make person perform within 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah, but it takes 2 always, Matt. one is talking, not one listens, because many of them just listen and they don't do.
One of the things I hear about real estate here for newcomers is that many of the firms make you start in rentals and not go to sales. And I mean, there's a couple of firms here. I mean, one particular firm, Tyrone Ash. He's very vocal on social media. Tyrone, he's been on my podcast actually, and one of what I think he considers his selling points to his agents is, when you come, we don't make you do rentals. We will let you jump in at the deep end and do sales and do what makes money. I mean, why do people get put into rentals?
I think it's for the easier way to get to know the city, because this is the easiest way. But I never imposed it. I looked at the individual characters, into different, at the backgrounds as well. Some people just, they don't belong to rentals. You can put them straight to sales, but they need to listen. They need to also do something extra. You need to get to know the city. I have a fantastic case. The guy came to Dubai, didn't know anything. And this is, again, back to the mindset. I told him, this is the area, secondary market. He stopped Amazon truck in Dubai South area. And he went with the guy. He gave him some money. He went around. And within a day, he knew the clusters, the names, and he got the full understanding of the area. Like this guy, to put him on rentals, never. Yeah. He belongs to sales. It's different thinking. So I was like, oh my God, I learn from them every day. It's genius.
And so when you're in sales, where are you teaching people to go and get their leads from, or to make their relationships? Because one of the things that that I see a lot of here is that people are given very cold data to call. Yeah. They're taught to smash the telephones. And I run sales operations in our businesses as well, and I believe that effort put into marketing to generate warm leads is, whilst more costly in the beginning, is ultimately a much better outcome for the business and the salespeople than just giving them cold data to smash after smash after smash. But it never happens here.
Agents will love you, Matt, when you say that.
Do you agree with me?
I'm a bit of an old school. And again, for the agents, it's not about why I encourage calls. Because yes, today you have this marketing campaign that you run and you have a support. Tomorrow you don't have it. You can't go to the gym once a month and have a six-pack. You need to do something a little bit, just every day, to keep yourself fit. This is the same. It's like a training on a treadmill. You still need to do calls, just for the sake of experience, because there will be always client who will ask you something that you haven't learned before.
I guess I agree that you've got.
I have a remark.
Go for it.
You're talking about cold calling.
Yeah.
What I try to change with them, it's they need to like calling. It's not, we were done with cold calling. This is old school. You need to find the creative way of talking to people. Just make calls. I always tell them, do calls, don't make cold calls. Make it warm. Do it differently. You need to enjoy it. You need to find out, because to answer your question, where to get leads, most of them underestimate their phone book. Each of us have, 1,000 contacts. Just once you move from UK to Dubai, just tell your uni friends that you came here, what you do, explain. Because what people do, even on their social media, once they move to Dubai, they start posting picture of them in the pool instead of actually posting them something from the office and explain what they do. And when they go after 1 year on vacation, people actually ask them, and what do you do? I do real estate. Oh, really? Yes. But they never talk. They never talk about it. So they underestimate their phone books.
How many realtors are here? Is it a maximum like 60,000?
24. Officially registered, because there is a rare certificate that they need to obtain. It's up to date, 24,000.
Oh, I thought I'd heard a much bigger number. But
However, there are non-registered, and unfortunately in Dubai it's yet to be fully regulated, but there are gaps where you can still work as real estate agent without RERA.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it's still there, and that's why you have actually double of this. So yeah, it's around 50,000 agents in the market.
How do you teach someone to make themselves stand out against the other 24,000 agents in there? Because I mean, everybody knows a realtor, everybody knows 5 realtors, you know, whether they're experienced or inexperienced, you know, maybe some specialize in the palm, some specialize in the marina. But, you know, I mean, if you were back in the UK and you said, I need to speak to an estate agent, I guarantee 90% of people have not got a realtor's telephone number in their phone.
Yeah.
Here, everybody's got a realtor.
Well, you'd be surprised. Do you have a realtor?
Well, I have them that I can call, as in they're not my friends, but I got a few I can call.
That's what I'm saying. There is no one.
Oh, sorry, is that what you meant? I thought you were saying, like, do I have
There
one?
are few, exactly. And that's what I try to change in them and try to explain, that forget about being just professional. Yes, you have to do the ethics, but we are back to basics. You need to build relationship. You need to do something extra. You need to do with all this, what's happening in the world, and people say, oh, it's AI takes over. I agree to a certain degree, but real estate, it's a very human industry. We are back to basics. Just build the relationship with your client, do some after sales job, do something else so they will remember you. Because people who do that in the market, especially for international clients, then you do everything for them. Because they might be billionaires and millionaires back at home. Here, they're like blind kittens. They don't know how to buy, and you help them. And once you do this extra, then they will just have Yana. And then they will say, if whoever calls them, I have Yana. Or Yana, this guy called me. This is what I aim them to become. How to do it? How to stand out? It's, yes, focus on relationship, focus on long term. This is another mistake they all have. They all believe that this is temporary. Every other person thinks that it's temporary. I came for 2 years. I've been here 20. Yeah. Dubai is addictive. Dubai is a great place, and you don't realize how you're already here for long. I thought my company is 1 year. It's been 2 years.
Most business advice, it's motivational fluff. It's empty promises and it's untested ideas by people who have never even tried to apply them. It's bollocks, but you're not going to get that here. And that is why I call it No Bollocks. The No Bollocks newsletter is straight talking, high impact, zero time wasting, tried, tested, and immediately actionable. 2 emails a week, insider strategies, brutally honest insights, and the answers to the questions that you're asking, or you should be asking. And the best part, you're going to learn more in 10 minutes than most people learn in a 3-year MBA. Over 20,000 people a week are already in. So don't be the one that's missing out. Hit the link in the show notes, because you just need 1 email that could be the one that changes everything.
So you talk about building relationships, and it's music to my ears, because I mean, my core business is selling investments, and that is very much a relationship-based business as well. And I play what I would consider a very long game. You know, I mean, I'll play an infinite game, because I work from the perspective that my investments are so large typically that it doesn't matter if it takes me 3 years to close someone or 4 years to close someone, it would have paid off. And as long as it's the right person that I'm building that relationship with, along that journey, I'll have met some other good people through them. And worst case, I'll have learned something, had some fun, whatever. But I guess I've got I'm not going to say a unique product, but my product ultimately, I can wait a long time because they're not going to be going anywhere else. So they're either buying with me or they're not. But I guess in real estate, there's a lot of other people that could come along and try and snap at the feet of that potential client while I'm trying to build that relationship. How do you teach someone to know the difference between drawing the line on playing a long game and wasting your time with tire kickers?
First of all, I charge for this, so I cannot tell you all.
Tell me 90%.
But The first thing that successful agents have, and that's where I try to get them, is to lower your expectations. Just don't expect. And even if you have the most friendly relationship, you still need to remember they're clients, they're not your relatives, they are not your closest friends still, they are clients. They have absolute right to go anywhere. They can buy with anyone else. It's okay. If you lower these expectations, if you will have the higher value of yourself, you will have a different positioning, and they will trust you more. It's like in a relationship when you're not afraid to lose the person in a way at the beginning. Then, so it's kind of catchy. So this is exactly what helps them in the beginning. When you show the value, when you don't have expectations, you talk differently. You treat clients differently. And one of the beginning of all my sessions, I first explain them the terminology. I said, whom do you call a client? Let's test on you. Whom do you call a client?
Somebody who's transacted with me.
Exactly. That's why you're successful. Because most of them, they start to have this in their mind only because someone responded on the phone, yes, I've registered. Oh. He is not your client yet. No, relax.
He's a lead.
It's a lead, exactly. And it's yet a process, a strategy to close, to approach, to do the right steps, certain steps. And this is where I explain them to them. And this is how it works.
I mean, how many clients does someone need in this game to make themselves a successful realtor?
I think it's, again, depends on what you do. But it's lots of books and the great sales tutorials where they've shown you all the proofs of 100 calls, what the outcome will be, and it's still working. Mm-hmm. It's still there. I say that it's not about for how much you sell, it's the consistency. And most of the agents that attend my courses or workshops, usually they close from 2 to 3 deals a month. But they also do it maybe with the same client or the new client.
And that 2 to 3 deals a month, I mean, does that differ wildly depending on which areas people work in? Yeah.
No, especially when it comes to secondary, it's a little bit different. The secondary market, if you work with the secondary market and if you have both seller and the buyer, then you're in a stronger position because it's not about for how much you sell, it's how much you charge. Mm-hmm. And again, if you provide a certain service, sellers usually, they will pay you more. They don't mind, especially if they want to sell. You can always agree on a certain amount, which is higher than commission. This is where it's a benefit. Earlier, I was saying that it's not very regulated in Dubai yet. But this is where it comes to the benefits because it's not yet regulated in Dubai. You can actually charge more. You're not restricted.
So if you're going to sell 2 or 3 properties a month, pretty much wherever you are, why does everybody not just go, I want to go and work luxury villas on the Palm?
Believe me, they all want.
Oh, okay.
All of them. They want to be on the Palm, which again, there is no sense because you look into transactions, how you need to choose the area. Choose the area where there are a lot of transactions. What's happening with the Palm right now? There is a high demand. There are not that many transactions. Why?
Because nobody's selling.
Why they're not selling?
The prices are not high enough?
It's not about this.
No?
They live there.
Okay.
End users, simple, and people don't get it.
Okay.
They're like, yeah, of course, there is always transaction, and Dubai is beautiful in terms of that because there is always something happening. And I always say, even for the end user, there is a right price. You're probably the perfect example. It's always the right price.
So what would you say the hottest 2 or 3 areas transaction-wise?
It's very easy. You can check on the land department. All reports are available at the moment. It's GVC. Yep. At this very moment. Second place is Business Bay, but it varies on the quarter, on the year. But it's all possible to check day to date. Everything is available.
What do you really think the truth of the Dubai market is now? Because if you read every realtor posts all the different things on Instagram, which to me, it's just bullish marketing bullshit. Is that, you can always find a statistic to prove whatever argument you want to prove. And if you look at any marketing about the Dubai real estate market, it's just going up and up and up and up and up and up and up.
Which at the moment it's true.
But then when I talk to people on the ground, they'll say, well, this area is not moving, or these prices are coming off. And then I also think, listen, how I feel living here is, it's getting more and more and more and more expensive. I think if I'm saying that, okay, I'm far from the richest man in Dubai, but I'm certainly...
Yet, always add yet.
Yes. But, I'm not somebody who's a price-conscious person, but I do feel myself more and more going, that lunch was expensive, that is expensive, that bill's... And if I'm thinking that, then what's everybody else thinking? Therefore, how sustainable is this growth, if it's even really there? I mean, what is the truth about the numbers?
Again, we're very lucky to have the access to the reports, to the land department. It's all available. At the moment, it's true. If you look at the statistics, the prices are growing. But what I personally don't like, that they a bit exaggerating in terms of they started comparing all the prices to COVID time. And they show that it's that much, like 100%, 400% premium and things like that. On one side, yes, it's growing, but why would you compare it to the lowest ever?
Sure.
This is a little bit cheated, I would say. Some areas, I've been here long enough, and I know that some areas like Palm, certain projects, downtown, certain projects, they haven't reached the prices of 2008 yet, just before the crisis. They haven't. Not all the projects. If people telling you that the prices go down, I want to speak to these people because if you go deep into the conversation, if there was one apartment sold cheaper than the others, it will happen everywhere at any time.
The markets that I hear it in are on the very high end things. Where I hear either purchasers or realtors saying that, that some of the top prices are coming off a bit. You don't agree?
I want examples.
Okay, I can't give.
I have people who are still, for example, you have still buyers. I'm talking about big money. There is no luxury in Dubai. So the luxury that you and I probably have seen in London or somewhere in States, where you see the mansions with quality, with proper finishing, because here is yet to come. It just started moving a little bit. Whenever there is someone coming from Europe or Russia, the first thing I tell the agents, remove from your vocabulary the word luxury. Luxury doesn't exist in Dubai. And people who are ready to pay for that, they cannot find properties. There is nothing available with the private beach or fantastic size plot. We don't have that. It's very limited. So the demand still there for the luxury property if you're talking about. Has it slowed down comparing to, let's say, 1.5 years ago? Yes. Did the prices go down? No. Will you always have a good deal on a certain project? Of course. We're all humans. It can happen, different stuff. People getting divorced. This is not the best cases. But I don't see any reasons in the nearest future that things will go down immensely or something will be affected.
And you think all the new buildings going up and up and up, it's still sustainable for all these opportunities?
The thing is that it looks a lot, but looking at the politics in general of the government and what they do, a lot of people move in here. And what I like, I travel a lot. And what I like that I still meet people, which is a bit shocking to me. But last year in the south of France, I was sitting at the table with quite wealthy people. And there were, out of 8 people, 3 one been here since like 2008, and two others never been to Dubai. And I'm shocked in a way, but in another way, I'm pleased because there are still people.
Opportunity.
There are still plenty of opportunities. And if you go to US, they think it's another planet. But people have money there, real money. I call it old money. Old money is not yet here. So I'm a big believer in Dubai. I'm a big believer in real estate. Let's say for the next at least 1.5 years. Stagnation will happen, things will happen, but it also can be affected in the wrong way. Who would expect it, COVID? Things like this can always happen.
So we said that one of the biggest mistakes that that beginner realtors make is that they think it's going to be so easy or too easy. When you're running your workshops, which is not beginners, that's people who are typically.
I do have beginners as well, but I just want them to be employed.
Sure.
Because I give very practical things. So to be fair, I want them to go get it and implement straight away.
Sure. So in that context, where it's people who are a bit more experienced, what are the mistakes what are the mistakes or the blockers or the barriers that they're typically going through?
This is something where I've been as well as an agent. When you work in real estate, especially here, you deal with a lot of unnecessary stress. You don't realize it. And if we talk a bit about energy, it's in the energy exchange. What happens? They give a lot, they call, they run, they show apartments, they give, and then they close one deal in a month. So on a scale, they just come back here. They never come back to the same level of the energy they put, even if it's big money. So what happens? They don't know how to balance. They don't know how to work on their own resources. They get excited sometimes, they get money, and this is something where I've been as well, being open about it. So what you do, you work hard, you party hard, you drink, you enjoy your life, you think that's the relaxation, which is not. And most of the mistakes agents do, they don't realize their own capacity, how long they run, so they don't do it equally. They don't take care of themselves, basically, and they burn out.
And that as well, I would imagine, is if we look at a real estate deal as going from lead to cold lead to warm lead to handshaken to paid. People are getting too caught up on the deals that are looking like they're going to close, forgetting that stage 4
100%.
had to start with stage 1, and like whether they take that money and go and party, or even if they don't take that money and go and party, they forget that every stage 4 needs to start at a stage 1, and don't be getting too hung up on the transactions you're trying to close. And keep that.
If someone told you I'm arriving on Friday to close the deal, and if it's Wednesday, you don't sit there and wait for it. This is back to what we were talking earlier, that do the calls, do something. Mm-hmm. Try something to keep you running, because this might disappear tomorrow.
And this is why, at the beginning of this, we said, whether you're in real estate or any other business, this is so applicable. I mean, I run sales calls every Monday with my financial advisors, and every fucking week, some of the same people are coming back. I say, what's going on from last week? Oh, well, I've got this hot prospect. I'm like, you've been telling me about this hot prospect for 6 or 8 weeks. Yeah. What have you been doing for the other 39.5 hours, to find some cold prospects and warm prospects and make them hot prospects?
Yeah, exactly. So, and I suggest them to, again, back to remove the expectations and to think of something every day. You need to do something every day. But also, I am not someone who encourage now people to, work hard, work smart. And the techniques I'm showing, it's basically focus 4 hours a day, make it efficient, and then the rest is follow up and for your pleasure, and it will just naturally, but consistency.
Give me an example of working smart, not hard.
Calls, they neglect calls.
Cold calls or any calls?
Any calls. Any calls, even people that I had an example during Christmas. period, the lady, she was Dutch. She came to my workshop and she's like, okay, I've changed the company. They're not giving leads because I'm new. I said, okay, just considering your background, and I know who she was married to, I said, look, just say Merry Christmas to everyone and explain that there is a project coming up. Then she called me, she's like, Yana, how does it work? They all start with this. That's why they call me magic. How? Two checks for the new project. Just for simple saying Merry Christmas. And this is what they don't do regular basis. Call your cold leads. Call someone you haven't spoken for a year. Call people that you've closed 2 years ago. They don't do it, Matt. They don't do it. They think that if someone bought for them, they're selling off-plan unit, okay? And they know that you bought for yourself. The project is going to be handed over in 2 years. Why don't you speak to this person? Things have changed. These people who bought apartment from you, 99% they have network of the same people that are able to buy another apartment from you. They don't even ask referrals. These are such basic things, and they don't do it still.
How do you teach people to balance between introducer channels and doing direct business?
With your mouth, just ask.
No. I mean, how much time should someone be concentrating on having channels where people introduce business to them? I guess technically making life easier for them, but sharing commission versus.
It depends on personality. Because some people are really good on making other people work for them. Okay. So, and some people, they can do it themselves. And this is why it's important to identify the strengths of the agent and what they're good at. So some will be good on the phone, so put them on the phone. Some people, and I've met people like this, they can actually talk to anyone in the mall. To me, it's like rude and absolutely inappropriate, but they can do it. And they actually close deals from that. So they go, they prospect, they approach. So you need to identify, and this is already the job of a leader, to being able to see how can I actually optimize my team and make them work at their best and make them bring the best in them and start billing.
Before we started talking, we were talking about your alopecia, which obviously for anyone watching they can see, for anyone listening they can't. Yeah, it's but yeah, you were talking about the fact that everybody has their excuse or reason why they can't do something, and that was obviously something that was one of your problems, fights, whatever you want to call it. Talk to me a little bit about the experience, the journey, how you felt, and then how you got over it, and how other people can learn that their problems are just excuses.
So I've started having alopecia since I'm 12. And that time, of course, I got to know it much later than in UK. It's quite known diagnosis, and people know about it. Because where I'm from, in Russia, they didn't know. They were like, oh my God, what's happening?
Well, how just clumps fall out?
It started with patches. And
that
then
never grow back.
And they never grow back. And then, so at the age of 19, I started wearing wig, which is also, I now reconsider things, but the parents were young, they didn't know what to do. And the first thing, you want the best for your children, they want to cover it, you want to hide. Whether things could be different and say, okay, this is a normality, you are different, you're unique, off you go. But it was different, so I was being very shy about it and cover, and then there is a wig and all of this. We are very grateful to lockdown times because we had a lot of time to self-reflect, and this is where a lot of changes with me actually happened, because I've been always in the corporate world. I've been trapped into this fantastic matrix world where you're getting paid and you're successful and everyone knows you and respects you. But when I was locked on my own, I was like, oh my God, I'm being known, successful, I have money, I live in the palm, and I'm like, why am I unhappy? There is actually nothing brings happiness to my life. And this is where I got into therapy. I started talking, and as you always say, you think you thought you had a good childhood until your therapist asked you to talk about it, and this is where it all came out. And I actually understood that I have an issue with self-love, with self-acceptance. And we slowly, it was an interesting journey within it for the different podcasts for 4 years, where I actually understood that this is my strength rather than weakness. And I understand that many people struggle with inner battles, and especially when it comes to women. They're always not very happy with how they look, which they shouldn't, because we're all being beautiful. It was 1 year ago, no, actually it was 2 years ago. First, I've decided to stop wearing wigs and be as I am.
Did people know you had alopecia?
Some people did, some people didn't. People would notice that I was wearing wig, but most people didn't. I never hide it. If people ask, like, what you have, I could explain. But, okay, let's put being straightforward. I was not very happy with the reflection in the mirror, which I'm still yet on the journey to accept to the full. But yeah, it was difficult. For women, it's very difficult. I think for everyone. Actually, it's interesting because I was studying it about hair loss in general. And for men to lose hair, actually, I don't remember exact the percentage, but for them, they actually affected psychologically more when they start losing hair rather than women. It was very interesting for me to know. I was like, okay.
I can vouch for that.
I was like, okay, cool. And this also helped me to reconsider things in general in life. And okay, this is what I am. This is how I accept, and accepted myself. And it helped me to also encourage agents. It helped me a lot in motivating now people, explaining them that you cannot be in a constant state of victim in general.
And if we move this into the business context, into the real estate context, what are the parallels? What are the issues that people are facing every day? This is personal issues, or this is complaining about their boss or their firm or their client?
Usually, yes, it's always the management, and they never take accountability. They never take responsible. That, especially in real estate, that annoys me a bit, because they don't understand that it's all in their hands. And whenever they come to my workshop or individual sessions, I'm lucky enough to give them examples of real people, because the agents I've trained or they worked under my leadership, they're real, they're here, they're not on Instagram or YouTube. I can name them, I can show them. They've become millionaires, they open their companies. They by the way, maybe open their companies in different industries, not necessarily real estate, and they're all real people. So they can't argue with me, they cannot tell me anything. I say, look, stop crying, stop saying, but the excuses are that mainly financially, they come not prepared. And they get all of them, they get issues back home. Most of them come here to support their families, and everyone has something, honestly. And this is another thing, when I have a sales team to sell my workshops. Mm-hmm. And they all get excited until they see the price. And they don't see this as a self-investment. You actually get ROI. You put a certain amount, I'll tell you how to make 10 times more. They don't get it. So my sales team has to explain them that. And the sad part is that they say, oh, I have no money now. And it's a bit a cruel example, but I always say, you have a lot of problems until you have a problem with the health. Once it comes with health problem, you have only one problem to have. And it's not always nice to say, but if I'm getting harsh on them, I'm like, look, if God forbid something happens to you tomorrow, you will find money. So why don't you want to give this treatment to yourself now, so you can go and perfectly perform and have no issues? Because now you clearly have issues. You clicked on workshop, you want to come. You know that something inside you knows that something needs to be fixed. Some people agree, and I win. Some people don't.
And where can people come and find you? How can people sign up to these workshops, work with you? And do you create much content online? You got a
Yeah.
YouTube channel, Instagram?
I have Instagram, which I was very against. It's at a certain time. I was like, okay, I thought people would know me. I don't need it, but yes, and agents all need to have a social media. I have Instagram with Yana_Magic Move. And I have my website with all the prices available. They can see what they get, the problems I work with, the solutions I can give them. magicmove.ae. So let them make a move.
Well, Yana, it's been a pleasure to have you here. Thank you very much for talking.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
It's been good to talk about the Dubai real estate that I call home.
Okay.
Thank you very
so
much.
much. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to No Bollocks with Matt Haycox. Today's conversation was packed with actionable insights, and I'm super, super grateful that you joined us. Now, our community now boasts 160,000 downloads a month of this podcast, and that is a testament to entrepreneurs just like you who refuse to settle for mediocrity. So don't miss out. Subscribe now and gain exclusive access to the conversations that can transform your business and transform your life. Also, while you're at it, if you could visit www.matt-haycox.com or click the link in the show notes below, and please sign up to the No Bollocks newsletter. That's like the sister newsletter that lives with this podcast. Every week I send 2 emails, and in just 10 minutes you're going to gain more knowledge than most people do in a 3-year MBA. So please subscribe, rate, share this episode with someone who needs a No Bollocks boost. And until next time, keep hustling and keep winning.